Welcome to the Man to Man podcast. Today's episode is something we don't often allow ourselves as men to do. And that's permission to feel okay. Not amazing, not fixed, not fucking crushing it, just okay. And just how powerful that can actually be. I'm going to cover what it feels like to be in a transition period, the stories I myself have been telling myself on repeat, and why I think giving ourselves space to just fucking be okay might be the most important thing we do. Let me start with where I am now, right now. I'm nowhere near where I used to be, but I'm not where I want to be either. Some days I feel like I'm changing, that things are too slow, that things are hectic, that business isn't going good, that I'm not doing good. And I spent probably way too long feeling like that. But recently, up until this point, I was in this weird limbo. And in many instances, I am still there. But that comment alone just there, as you'll see as I come on to, shows how you can get stuck in this place of despair, I guess. Some old habits haven't died, and new ones are slowly getting built. Whilst things are getting more hectic in some ways, progress is being made, and things are okay. Up until, like I say, recently, and this is something that certainly I'm not saying I've mastered, but I was properly stressing myself out, putting myself in this negative place, repeating stories, as we do as men and women. Most of what I think isn't new. It's just the same old stories on loop. Up until recently, and to some degree now, I keep telling myself things like, you're behind, you're messing it all up. You know where you should be by now. You're not who you should be by now. You're fucking things up. Shit's hitting the fan. And whilst there may be some elements of truth in that, there's also a lot of lies that I keep telling myself. It's like my brain has become addicted to the narrative of I'm not enough. And the longer I listen, the more I believe it. But up until recently, and when I say recently, I mean very fucking recently, I'm slowing down. And that's not to say I'm slowing down on what I'm doing, because work-wise, I'd say I'm doing a hell of a lot more than I have been doing over the last few years. I'm being more selective in the work that I'm doing. But I've been making conscious efforts to slow things down around me. Putting the phone down. Not looking to fill the space with busyness. Being okay with just sitting with my own thoughts. And trying to explore the connection between thoughts and identity. And just letting things slide. Letting my thoughts go where they need to. If I feel them stressing or going down the negative path, go for a walk, do some press-ups. Being comfortable, just being. And like I say, now, in some ways, on the business side, things have become quite stressful, hectic, troublesome to some degree, because there's certain aspects of the business not working according to what I had aimed for or assumed. But that's okay. Where I'd spent previously waking up because I was stressing that much, waking up in the middle of the night, stressing, therefore not sleeping, therefore being tired when I'm supposed to be working, therefore causing more stress because I'm not working in the manner that I'd hoped for, or doing the work, and just spending most of the day feeling like a rabbit in the headlights. Whereas now I'm just trying to be a bit more passive, letting things flow, letting things slide. And that doesn't mean not giving a shit or not being passionate or not allowing stuff to get missed that needs to be done. Apart from it, like I say, I think I'm doing more now than I was previously. Being a bit more organised now, being a bit more selective with where my focus goes. And this is only in the last few weeks. This isn't a, whoa, look at me, I've got it all sussed. Far from it. But now I'm just giving myself permission. Permission to feel okay. Permission to let things slide. Permission to not trying to fill every quiet moment. Allowing myself to rest without guilt. Meaning, I'm allowed to not be broken or thriving, just existing. And that's enough for now. And accepting that not everything needs fixing immediately. Being harsh on myself where I need to be harsh. Giving myself a kick where I need to give myself a kick. But overall, just saying to myself, you're doing better than you think. Now, I'd wish I could just lay it out for you and say, this is how. This is how I do it. This is what I've done. It's easy. Currently, it is easy. But that's not for spending months, years. In many, I could easily argue to myself, decades, trying to get to that position. How long it would last, I don't know. But I'd like to think I can stay in this place. I'd love to stay in this place because it's wonderful. Yes, not everything's going smoothly. Yes, there are some stresses that I need to be concerned about. Yes, there are certain elements of my life where I need to be putting a lot of work and a lot of focus into. But at the same time, I'm relaxed. Relaxed in allowing myself to be okay. Not trying to fill every thought, every moment with self-doubt, with words that, or inner monologue, I guess, of self-hatred, which is what we do as men and women. But I can only speak for men, myself, and that's definitely what I do. And I know that I'm not alone in that. So here's what I'm doing to try and stay in this position. Here's what I'm doing that's, I believe, has got me into this position. And that's one of the things is taking note, having a plan, and making a conscious effort to stick to the plan whilst understanding not everything's going to go as planned. And now that might seem silly, but I spent years writing lists, planning out my day, trying to plan way too much in that day. In many instances, trying to plan a month's worth of work in a single 24 hours. And then waking up, getting overwhelmed, then procrastinating, then getting pissed off, then start with a negative self-talk. And what I've done, I've just thrown most of that out the window. Keep things simple. Don't overwhelm yourself. Start small. Bit by bit. Day by day. Push yourself. But don't destroy yourself. And that's the difference. We're all at different positions in life. We're all got different capabilities. We're all capable of exactly the same thing, but we are at different levels in our own personal journey, and we are competing against ourselves. wanting the best for ourselves, but to our own detriment many of the times. But understand, you don't have to fix everything today. If all you did was survive the day and show up, you're listening to this now, that's what counts. You don't need permission from the world to feel okay. But you do have to allow yourself to calm out peace. Peace in that thought, in those thoughts of your head. Because one thought leads to many thoughts. And those thoughts over time carve out caverns. And pretty much those thoughts quickly become your identity. So just allow yourself to shut things off. Sit with your own thoughts. Don't try to fill it with chaos, because all you're doing there is trying to numb the thoughts that are in your head in the first place. Sit with them. Learn to sit with them. Not battle them. Just let them be. Take a moment and breathe. Don't feel guilty just resting. Don't feel guilty just relaxing. Don't feel guilty just having a moment. We all need it. And denying yourself that is the exact proof that shows me that that's what you need. Even if no one else says this to you, just understand this. You are enough. Even if your head says otherwise, relax. You are enough. And understand that whilst life might be tough, whilst things might be shit, life works in seasons. So as difficult as it may be, give yourself permission to sit there in the chaos, breathe, and smile. For this too will pass. Thank you for listening.